Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man! At your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Now, I've got another mask to show you. Where does he get them from? Where? Why does he get them? Mrs. Kilt-Man always asks me, why? Haven't you got enough masks? No, we can always do with some more rubbery company around the place. So, I picked this mask and I got it from Amazon. Yeah. Now, I get pretty much most of my stuff comes via Amazon, with a smattering of eBay and some other private sales, and the black market. But anyway, this came from Amazon, and when I opened it, I was immediately going to go, right, I'm going to do a big ranty video about Rubies. Yeah, Rubies, that mask manufacturing company, which a lot of people like to piss on their parade. I have many times in the past, and yet I've turned full circle. Well, not full circle, because that would mean I'd be right back where I started from. But I've turned on a bit of a detour and worked out that actually the majority of masks that Rubies make that I've got, I really like. They might be a bit slapdash when it comes to the painting, but the overall sculpt and the detail is still bloody good. So I'm more than happy with them, the end result. But what I'm not happy with, it's the shipping of these things. Time and time again, I've heard from other people that their Rubies mask is folded in half, it's creased to hell, they're never going to get the stoved in, misshapen elements out of it again. It's never going to bounce back to its glory. And I've come across this myself innumerable times. By far, and I mean by far, the Rubies masks that I've got, and I've got plenty of them. I mean, I still keep getting them. It doesn't put me off them at all, obviously. But they come in and they are folded, they're creased, they're inside out. They just are completely done in. And you've got to work at those to get them to come back into shape. You shouldn't have to do that. Trick or Treat Studios, Ghoulish Productions, anyone else, the mask seems to arrive in a box and it's totally fine. Obviously, I'm not getting these things from the original supplier. I'm getting them from another party, like Amazon, like a private seller, like whoever, a store, whatever. And it's how, you can't always say, well, it's obviously the people who made this mask who have done the mistakes. Look, lots can happen in the shipping. Of course it can. They can be housed on shelves or, on a rack or just piled up. And obviously over time, they're going to get, if they're not packaged properly, they're going to be in some kind of disarray. I understand that. But the thing is, there's no way on earth that Rubies can be let off the hook. Something that they're doing, however they're packaging these things and sending them out to these intermediaries to then sell on, they're not doing their job properly, because they are, without doubt, literally all the time, they are folded, creased and done in. My experience is that, and the experience of many other people is precisely that. And it's what puts a lot of people off getting their stuff, knowing that they may have to wrestle with this latex once they've got it, having shelled out their hard end. So I opened this box, and it was in a box. It was actually in a box. I thought, oh, there's a good sign. It's in a box. Yay! Sliced it open. Ooh, oh, what? And it was in one of the little Ziploc bags, and it was folded in half, and then again, basically been cubed. And I went, oh, you're joking me. And when I opened it, it was just, right, I'm really going to kick ass on this now, because this is beyond coincidence. Every Rubies mask arrives in this terrible, terrible state. And then I thought, hold your fire, Kilt-Man, hold your fire. Just see if you can rectify this, as you've rectified most of the other ones, which I have. I shouldn't have to, but I have done. So I put it on Mrs. Kilt-Man's head, and miraculously, it popped out. And it went back to its robust shape. I was like, wow, well, that's really good. And now I'm going to show you it. And it is Harvey Two-Face from Batman's Rogues Gallery. But which version is this, though? It's from, where is it now? Where's the label? DC Comics Supervillains from Rubies. Now you can see they're all comic book versions there. But as you can see from the that's rude, isn't it? I do apologise. I hate it when it does that. The hair on our friend Harvey Two-Face here is this sort of silvery grey, shot through with, you know, silver and all that, from the animated series, which we're playing some of Harvey's music from right now. But the mask that I got, and I like this mask, I do, I think it's really, really good. I can't work out what this is from. And I'm a big fan of Batman and, you know, all the many incarnations they've been. What? Of course I'm going to show you the mask. Here he is. There he was. There he is now. Hey! See? Now. Yeah. I've been two minds about this. But anyway. So, yeah, he has brown hair here, which of course brings in the likes of movie incarnations. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones, he has black hair, but it's all purple and weird stuff as well. Aaron Eckhart, who is sort of blondie, isn't he? But half his face, he's more dark man, isn't he? Half his face is absolutely incinerated off and you can see inside. But this is very clearly from a comic book version. But I don't know what series, I don't know what graphic novel or what comic book run this incarnation's from, or whether it is a Rubies' own variation. I don't know, because as usual, you don't even get the sculptor's name. I don't know anything about this mask. I just know that I like the look of it. It's very cartoonic, it's very OTT. It's ghastly, but it's not overly gruesome. I mean, you can see all the sinews here, and I'm always going on about sinews and stretched ligaments and that on these masks, because they're very often showing desiccated, ruined, decomposed faces. I showed you the Darkman mask from Trick or Treat Studios, which I've worked on, by the way, since that last video, and now it looks a hell of a lot better. I will show you that sometime. But again, that's red and black and livid and barbecued and gory, whereas this is very, very much a sort of EC Comics, ghoulish, zombie type look. It's OTT, but it's not like, it's not ghastly, it's not going to turn your stomach. But it is suitably. I mean, he looks frigging cruel on that side. Very tyrannical. He's not a happy dude, is he? And then at least he's got a bit of a sense of humour on that side. Serious, manic, serious, crazed and warped, serious, serious fun. Yeah, that's what this guy's about. And I do love that sort of. It's almost like it's on fire. It's a sculpting of like a fireplace. It's like lava, a big lava landscape. But the sculpt is really good. And this, as I say, was folded in half and then in half again. So it was like a postage stamp when it came out. I just thought, you what? And it was misshapen. But I did put it on. This is Kilt-Man's noggin. And it just went, whoop. Obviously, it was trying to peel itself away from her flesh. And who could blame it? But it's actually a really good sculpt. Now, so my initial rant about Rubies still holds water because it was done in without a doubt, as so many of these masks are. But it did ping out, so hey ho. But there is another little complaint about this. Can anybody spot anything here? Anything unusual in the colour scheme of the skin without putting too fine a point on it? There you go. What's up with that finger? Sorry, I thought there was a little cut on my finger there. But there you go. Can you see that there? Now, that there was almost like a hieroglyphic. It was a symbol. And I thought, I hadn't noticed it in any pictures of the mask. And of course, I've looked since and I've seen no pictures of it anywhere else, of that particular image on the normal side of Harvey's face. And it was kind of like, well, I don't know if you can make it out there, because I have, well, I'll describe. You can see a little swirl. It does look like something from, it looks like half of the Rebellion's insignia from Star Wars. Half of that, their little symbol, it looks like half of that. And I thought, well, that looks too deliberate to be sort of a bit of a splash of paint or a bit where there's been none of this paint's been adhered. So I looked at it under now and thought, it looks like it's meant to be there, but it can't be. So I began to work on it, didn't I? Yes. I realised that it hasn't been sculpted in as such. There's no indentation on the other side, on the inside, but there is a depression. The whole symbol is lower than the rest of the surface of the latex. So I've got my fingernail in there, and the black element to it, because it was very black, very obvious, began to lift out. So, oh, okay, I can rub this all away. But of course, in so doing, you left this sort of chasm, which was no longer as dark as it once was, but still had an element of shadow in it, because it was still a depression. Oh, I thought, shit, that hasn't helped me at all. So now I've said before, I don't use paints, because I've not got the appropriate paints for latex. But I've got Sharpies with every colour under the sun. So I found some flesh-coloured Sharpies, some yellow, some brown, some khaki type colours. Tried to blend them together. No. Didn't wear. Looked even more fucking obvious. So I thought, okay, right. Rubbed all that away, or as best I could. Then I found a little tester pot of paint. Which was, I think it was called cold coffee, or something like that. I thought, yeah, cold coffee, yeah, could be. Coffee with milk in it, obviously. So I dabbed a little bit of that in, and well, no, I didn't do it either. No, shit. So I then got a pencil, and when it dried, I sort of shaded over it to try and give it the you probably can't tell, but there's a sort of dirty aspect to the skin. Like just a bit of colour and texture to it, a bit of shading. So I tried to blend it in with that, with the pencil. No. So then, because I wasn't about to admit defeat just yet, I then found one of those little spot cover sticks. No, it's not mine. It's ancient as well, and I found it. I thought, what colour's that? And it was sort of this colour. So I got my finger in there, and I sort of filled in the little crevice with this stuff. No, as you can see now, it just looks like, well, that's slightly off colour. I suppose in this light, you probably can't even really see that. Well, you can. I know you can. But it's an annoyance and a niggle. But that's all it is, you know. And it struck me that maybe because it seemed to be so deliberate, so obvious, this little sign, this symbol, that maybe, just maybe, that had been done on purpose. And it was actually to denote the special mask. The mask that once someone has purchased this, entitles them to $90 million and a yacht in the Bahamas. Because yes, you're our special winner. And I've gone and completely removed it, mangled it, gone over it. Knowing my luck, someone's going to come on now from Rubies and say like, even though you dissed us, yeah, that is a prize-winning mask. But guess what? Because you ruined it, nothing for you, Kilt-Man. Apart from a glorious mask. So now we've got all that shit out of the way, let's have a look at the mask. Yeah, that side, serious. I like the, it's very Batman the Animated Series. It's very literally arched, stylized. It's very slick on this side, bit of a depression there. That was the entire bloody mask when I first opened it. But that will pop out. And, very serious and austere. And clearly, that's Harvey Dent, District Attorney. Yeah. And then you switch around, and I love the way that it blends into the mouth there. I mean, you've got more sort of seepage and lippage going on down here, and the peeled back gums and all that. But it does blend pretty well. It is literally the two sides, which of course is the theme of Batman. The whole Batman ethos is duality. If you haven't got a secret identity, a superhero side or a supervillain side, and then a public service sort of side, which is your everyday demeanor, your everyday character, then you actually have got a severe bipolar schizophrenia, like this guy, Harvey Dent. Is it? Oh, what's the gangster? Sal Morosi. Oh, I can't remember. In court, splashes his face with acid, burns off half his face, and the resulting dementia turns him into the arch criminal Two-Face, using his special two-headed coin, but one side of the coin's been also scratched and melted with the acid as well. The coin that always decides the fate, which he can't make his own mind up on because he's in two minds about everything. I used that joke before, didn't I? Damn it. But he's a great character, and it's in various incarnations throughout the movies, and the comic books have been elaborate, exciting, punchy, dynamic, and a really well written, well drawn evolution of psychosis. And that's the thing about Batman and the whole Batman sort of confrontations. They're all psychologically complex and very intriguing, very dark and pretty. There's flaws. Stop putting these people in Arkham Asylum. They're only going to get out again. Your stupid rule about not killing these people. Duh! Does that not make you realise you're creating problems for yourself further down the line? Or are you just trying to keep yourself in employment? You don't even need the money. Bruce, what are you playing at? Maybe you're a bit twisted too. Bit too many bats in the belfry, perhaps? Well, you know he is. Because that's the whole beauty of Batman and the Dark Knight. He is just as flawed and as tragic and as scary in many ways as the people he's trying to defend Gotham from. Hey, but it's only a mask. But the green is nice and comic book livid. There's lots of shading in there, lots of crevices and ripped up bits. The eyeball does look a little bit sort of like a ping pong ball, and someone has just drawn on it, like me with a Sharpie. Can you see the little red squiggles? But that's in keeping with the comic book look. It's highly stylized, it's overt, everything is bigger, larger. There's no finite detail to it. It doesn't need it. It's like the TV animated series. It's very, very stark, and the contrast is there, literally in this case. And it doesn't need any sort of any finesse to it. It's just really overt and exaggerated, bold. But it's great. It is great. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, work on the reds. There are reds deeply inset in here. Make it a bit more gory, a bit nastier. That's, hey, you do what you do when you get your mask. You do what you want. There's not a great deal of sculpting to the hair on this side. But again, that's in keeping with the fact that that's going to be smooth. That's going to be chaos. That's going to be just nice and neat and bland. And that's going to be wild abandonment and craziness, which it is. And I really do love that hair. In fact, that's probably the thing that drew me to it most of all when I just saw the picture listed there. I thought, the hair on that. And I thought, what's wrong with that hair? It should be white, or it should be purple or silver, but not brown. But it still looks great. And I think there's a hint of red in there as well. A hint of chestnut, or maybe some sort of lighter mahogany. Can you get a lighter mahogany? Don't put a lighter anywhere near mahogany. Inside, you have a sponge. Yeah, do you like sponge? I like a bit of sponge with custard. But there is a sponge to help it balance upon your noggin. So, let's dive in to the warped duality psychosis of Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Now, it's a big mask, hence why that sponge is there. I haven't got a coin, have I? Heads, you win. Heads, you lose. Oh, it's heads. I have to flip again now to see if you... this whole flipping thing. It's too complicated. Yeah, you can see it's a very big mask. But, you know, with a bit more sponge in there, you could make that a bit of a tighter fit. And it does look pretty, you know, severe with the eye. See, even this side looks sinister, doesn't it? It's got an inscrutable sort of look to it. But it is... it's equally sinister. That's just OTT garish rogue. Yeah. See, look at that now. If you tighten that in, which you can do, you can obviously pad this out, and you could cinch it round the back a little bit more. You could work on this certainly. Or you could, if you've got lots of hair, you can shove your hair up on the inside, which will fill it out. And you can see through that as well. You can see through that there. There's a hole in the pupil. Is that the pupil or is that the iris? I always get that mixed up. But yeah, I like it. Yeah. Yeah, I you know, there is issues, obviously. But that, you see, this is where it, that is a one-off, isn't it? Because I've seen this mask, other people have put pictures of this mask on and does not have that little roguish element there. So that is a one-off. But it was very well structured and very neat and very, very clearly designed and cut. I've just cost myself $90 million. but the rest of it is pretty good. I like the blandness of that side, which is why that's a bit annoying, because if you're going to work over that, it kind of diffuses the overall bland effect by giving you a pinpoint to look at. And then you've got that. And the colouring there, that green, is nice and livid. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to embellish any more red inside that and make it any more gruesome. I don't think I'm going to do that, because it's not been designed with that look. It's purely cartoonic, and they really have downplayed the inner workings of the flesh. So I'm going to go along with that, really. But you've got like a nice, the separation is good, because that skin up here, that's higher. So clearly his flesh has been burnt away. So they've remembered that. So this side, it does sort of, there's a bit of a ski jump, whoop, and you drop down, whoop, down here. So that is lower set than the rest of it. And I like that. That's a little detail which, you know, a lot of masks probably wouldn't even have come up with. But I think it's great. I like this weeping, drippy bit here, which has gone completely over the eye. I like that there. That's nice. There's a nice sweepage here. You've got some ears, or the remains of an ear there. That ear is completely, oh, that's dropped down somewhat, but it's great. It's a good cartoon mask, that one. As I say, I don't know who sculpted it. I don't know anything about the genesis of this particular look. It's not the purple quality. It's not the blue, because you've seen him sort of blue sometimes, and purple and blue, and just But rarely is it green. Someone out there is going to say, that is from series so-and-so, you know, and yeah, that's just maybe, but I really don't know. There is the label for it. I showed you it before, didn't I? And it's DC Comics Supervillains, and it is, of course, from Rubies. But despite my earlier sort of pseudo-rant, a rant that got derailed, there are still issues with Rubies and the end quality of these masks. These masks would be great if they just had them shipped properly. This one even came in a box, not in like a jiffy bag or just a normal mailer. You know, not Norman mailer, that's something else entirely, but a normal sort of post mailer bag, envelope, and they've crammed them in. Now, it's only Rubies that happens to. It's not any other company that I deal with. So I just don't get it. And if I order a Trick or Treats mask from Amazon, it's going to come nicely packaged, and it's not going to be, you know, dented. Or Goodish Productions or anybody else. They come great. They come fine. Even the really piss poor, completely super cheap. But I thought, I'll take a chance on that. You know, and they may be complete pile of crap, but they can sometimes be a rare gem, as I've shown you in the past. And even they, from some little fly-by-night company, have just shoved it in a bag. But even though it's poorer latex, because it's a lot poorer, a lot thinner, it just seems to spring out. It's fine. But Rubies, using what would be good quality latex, they just don't seem to take that extra step of care. So, I don't know. But, you know, I still enjoy their masks. It won't put me off getting more Rubies masks. I do like them, and they do have a license to a lot of good stuff as well. So, but the masks themselves are great. It's just that little finite extra bit of attention. Put it in some kind of packaging where it's not going to get completely done in. So when it goes to a third party, it gets put on a rack, on a shelf, it's not going to get damaged. How is it the other companies can do this all the time, and you guys consistently have an end product which is warped and inside out and dinged and dented? It's a Harvey Dent, literally. And people say I just throw these things together. Anyway, folks, there you go. That is a Rubies Harvey Two-Face full deluxe overhead mask with a luxurious rebellion of beautifully moulded and sculpted hair on this side, beautifully bland and completely boring hair on that side, which is the whole bloody point, of course. You know, there's a bit of a, you can see that, can't you? There's a bit of a depression which is persisting there, but you know, work on that. And the delineation is nice and great, and it's an overall, it's a great, good sculpt. It's very solid, it's very bold, its lines are very sharply drawn, it's angular, it's perfectly in keeping with Batman the Animated Series. That's what I'm getting from this. It must be from that, it must be an incarnation of that. Certainly an animated or cell-drawn version of Two-Face. It's not from the movies. But anyway, and there it is, the Aaron Eckhart theme from The Dark Knight. He's the White Knight. He's the best of us. The Joker took him down. But whatever happens, we can't let the Joker win. But hey, you know, he's still a fucking mess. Right, folks, I have been and always shall be Kilt-Man. I'll be back very, very shortly with, well, more stuff. So, in the meantime, on this semi-rant, semi-praise, semi-hard-on, who knows? In between time, please take it easy, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all, flip a coin, then we'll see later. You tickle.